How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Where are you? It looks very festive there.
Yeah, I have my little apartment set up, my
Where,
Christmas.
where you? Oh, that's good. Where are you located? Where are you now?
I'm in San Antonio, Texas.
Ah, nice. And let me ask you something because I'm freezing here in New York. I live in New York. So, do you have this thing called sun there?
We do.
And is it warm or this thing called
Yeah,
warm?
real warm.
I'm a little jealous.
I
A
think
little jealous.
yesterday it was like 75 degrees out here.
I only say that because I was just raking leaves outside of my driveway outside, and
Mhm.
my hands were freezing up on the metal of the pole of the
Oh my
broom.
goodness.
I'm like, why? It's 30 something degrees. What? It's only December. What are we doing here? And I'm hearing, and I knew it was like, it had to be in the 70s somewhere there, right? I'm
Yeah.
like, come on, just a little bit. Just throw some this way. I'll take 10 degrees. All I want is 10 degrees. I'll be happy.
We'll share. We'll split it. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. You get a little coolness. I'll get a little heat, and we'll be
Yeah,
happy.
yeah,
It's all good.
yeah.
Thanks.
Perfect.
I'm sorry. I'm babbling. I'm always late in my interviews because I babble, and I apologize. I was late for my last interview. I'm sorry. Go.
No worries. And I know you come here in February, so
Yes.
you'll get some warmth then.
And look, that better not be the time of rain or the one time in Texas that it snows per year or whatever that
Yes.
is. I don't want anything to do with that. So please, when we come, just because I want to wear no jacket. How about that? I just want
Okay.
some sun.
Yeah, yeah.
Give me 68 degrees. I'll be happy. That's all I
Okay.
want.
I'll take
Thank
care
you.
of it. Don't
So you
worry.
can arrange that.
Okay, well, I did mention your tour, so we might as well hop into that.
Hop right into it. Yeah.
So it's the kind of second leg of the
Yeah.
40th anniversary tour. So how are you feeling about it?
Great. And here's why, Alex, because the last tour we did in the summer with Black Label and Hatebreed, Anthrax, Black Label, Hatebreed, it really went well. So during that tour, I mean, the shows weren't sold out, they were packed, right? So the promoters, right in the middle of the tour, I remember saying, we need to do another leg. They're all out on us to do another leg. And of course, the bands, we get along so well, it's a no brainer. So it's a very much relaxing, fun atmosphere backstage, and I think that just catches flame backstage and comes onto the stage. So you feel that vibe. It's very family oriented. And this on this leg, Hatebreed couldn't make this leg because they're doing their own tour. So we have our friends Exodus on this tour. So we've known them forever. So it's very much an easy kind of hang out with your friends and play shows.
Mhm.
It's kind of tour. So and plus, it's a great package. I don't think I have to sell the package
Mhm.
because I think it speaks for itself, which is great. I'm a fan of his music, so I would want to see this package. So it's got something for everybody.
For sure. Are there any like specific stops you're looking forward to? I mean, obviously, except for San Antonio, Texas.
Of course, San Antonio Tech. Yeah, that's why I'm doing this interview. Of course, there's a lot of people that wanted to see this tour,
Mhm.
uh, that were really writing in and letting us know you should do a second leg. Yeah, the whole Northwest, all that. We're hitting some Canadian shows too.
Mhm.
Yeah, all of the above. You want to try to get everywhere, and tell the promoters and look, they dictate where we go. To be honest, we could say what we want to. If there's a market there and they're going to sell tickets, we'll go there, and that's the whole point. But
Right.
I think we're hitting a lot of great spots on this run, and make a lot of people satisfied for seeing this thing.
Sure. And obviously I have to ask at some point, can you tell me anything about the new music Anthrax is developing?
I like to tell you, but I can't. Um, it's it's my press agent Heidi would like pull out my tongue and rip it off if I said anything because she said don't talk about the new music. I can say there is new music. I don't know when, how, where, blah blah blah, all that stuff. I'm very excited about it, and yes, how about that?
Okay, it's there, it's happening.
It's there. There will be new music from Anthrax eventually.
At some point.
At some point. How about at some point? I like that. At some point. We don't know when. Life
Yeah.
is weird. So
Okay, let's how about we dive a little deeper into just your journey as a musician?
sure.
So did you know growing up that that was what you wanted to do?
Yeah. I mean, back when, growing up, I grew up in a broken home. My dad took off because I needed heroes. Music was my thing, right? That was my outlet, because it filled the void in my gut that I felt there was like this huge void from the whole abandonment thing and stuff. So music always was my outlet to make me feel better. It was more like a soothing thing, which it does for a lot of people. So I believe music is a gift to all of us
Mhm.
for to feel better about things because it soothes us, it makes us feel good, makes us feel emotion. I think that's really important part, an important aspect of life that we really need, especially nowadays.
Right.
Um, I and it's always been. I remember when I was young, I saw Kiss and the band Kiss, and I said that is what I want to do because I wanted to make people feel as good as I felt at that moment. Man, if I feel like this, how can I make people feel like the way I do? And that's what carried me over to want to learn an instrument and really just get really involved and live it.
Yeah. Do you think there was ever a moment for you where you kind of felt like, man, like I've made it, or like that you were giving that experience to other people through your music?
When you hear the roar of I don't think about anything. I made it. Because then you lose your hunger. I never want to lose your hunger. Don't forget where you came from and always stay hungry. I think that's really important because you don't want to get complacent because that's where you get boring and you don't create the best stuff you could.
Mhm.
So I'm always hungry. My band is very hungry to get better and just do the next level stuff. I think it's important. I never want to feel like I made it. Look, we had a certain amount of success in our lives. I'm very grateful for that. But the day you say you've made it, you've kind of given up. And the last thing I'm doing is giving up because I'm a hungry musician. I want to get to that song that I haven't written yet, and that makes me feel like the way I want to feel, and turn on people to that, make them feel good. And I think you just got to. It's perpetual. You have to keep it going.
Definitely. So we mentioned your background journey as a musician a little bit. I did read that you began as a roadie with Anthrax.
Yeah.
Could you talk about maybe how that came about and how you became an official member?
Well, me saying I was a roadie is an insult to roadies. I was so bad. So truth be told, but and when I say roadie, I was 16,
Mhm.
17, around that age, helping them lift gears and maybe learning how to change guitar strings. I was horrible. I was horrible at it. So I knew nothing technically like the amps and stuff. There's no way. Volume, that's about it. I knew nothing. So I was really like I help my friends. I call it. I was the roadie on the first record because there was no money. I was a friend who hung out with them a lot, and and you help your friends out. And I played in the meantime I played. So when I heard they were auditioning, it was an easy transition to when I auditioned,
Mhm.
and then I got the gig, and it all worked out pretty
Sure.
good.
Awesome. That's really cool.
It is. It's a fun story, but yeah, roadie. And I say that, man. I don't want to insult roadies because there's so many great ones out there and technicians. I was not a good one.
Okay, what about Helmet? How did you become involved with them, and how did that experience differ from Anthrax?
Good question. Helmet was some of the most joyous times in my life. I Anthrax and I we took a hiatus from each other for a while. We were
Mhm.
having we had some differences. We decided just take a break from each other, as relationships do.
Mhm.
In retrospect, it was for the better of Anthrax. So I was off. I remember the week after I decided to do that, my friend John Tempesta, who I grew up with, my high school buddy John Tempesta, called me up. Hey, he's playing in this band called, well, I know I was a big fan of Helmet anyway. He says, Helmet's looking for a bass player. Why don't you come out and jam with us? Okay. It was as easy as that. I talked to my friend Paige Hamilton,
Mhm.
and he said, told me learn a plethora of songs. I think I learned 37 songs to go out and jam with them. And I flew out to LA. And that first jam, we knew it immediately. All four of us. Chris Trainer was the guitar player in the group, also along with Paige, John Tempesta, and myself. And it really just clicked. And it was just really musically, it was just a wonderful experience. I loved it. I had a great time hanging with all my friends. Just a really great vibe. I'll cherish those times forever. So
Mhm.
that's one of the better times of my musician life.
Mhm. And I see everything set up behind you. So why don't we
It's
talk about your
my shameless promotion little
yeah,
wall here. I'm sorry about that.
perfect little background? Okay, we'll move over to your EP then. Could you maybe explain the process developing it and the three songs that you have on it as well?
Sure. Well, it comes from this book. Again, shameless plug, but we are here to do an interview. I wrote a book that came out last year. This book called Fathers, Brothers, and Sons,
Mhm.
available on Amazon. I have to say that's my Gene Simmons, available on Amazon. I do that. My Gene Simmons mode. I go into selling. Um, so I wrote this book, and well, there's a lot of different issues that I went through in my life: abandonment, the loss of my brother, along with a lot of great rock and roll stories. So I had what happens is when you write a book, the things you thought you put away in therapy, and you go to therapy for, you compartmentalize it and you get rid of it. You think you put it away. When you write a book, it becomes face value. It's right in front of you. Again, it doesn't leave you. It comes back with a vengeance. And I thought I conquered all those demons, but apparently they were still there. So when I'm in a bad way like that, and I have a bad day, first thing I do is I pick up a guitar, and it seems to get it out and soothe me, and it's really cathartic. And that's what I did. And therefore, from this, you get the EP, because all those emotions came out again. So I didn't want to put too many songs out. I have more songs, but I thought a 3-song EP would be right for now. A little taste of what I do. I've never done a solo thing, solo venture, and I'm getting some really great reaction, great reviews for this. It's really hard rock. It's not Anthrax. It's not heavy metal. I didn't intend. I have my own little file for when I write with Anthrax that stays there. This was for my file, and I wrote the songs. I played on it. I just didn't play drums on it. So it was very important to me to get it out. And thankfully, the reaction I'm getting is really nice. Now people are asking me when I'm going to be touring this. I don't know. I don't know if that calls for it. People want it, I'll come out and do it. We'll see. But it's very, very flattering, and it's a nice little side thing, while Anthrax is doing another thing, and to do this on the side. It's a cool vibe.
I mean, I've listened to them, and definitely it's totally different than what Anthrax is putting out. So I think it's really cool.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, spread the word.
I already am. Don't worry about it.
Well, thanks for that.
Would you say that the pandemic affected the creation process of the EP or the book at all?
It was the catalyst, to tell you the truth. I wrote the book in this room. I wrote the EP in this room. And I'm in my basement right now, Alex. I'm in my basement. So this is where, when COVID hit, this is kind of where I stood to create. And I have my family upstairs, but this was the place to come and just let it out. And the angst of the whole COVID thing, especially I live in New York, so we were one of the first places that got really locked down, remember? Right. And that was a really tough time for everybody. And again, I went to my guitar, and I remember for the book, my co-writer, Joel McIver, and I have been talking about doing it for years. So Joel called me up one day during beginning of COVID with the lockdown. He says, will this be the right time? And you look around, I'm looking at these 4 walls. I said, yeah, this is the right time. And everything just came out. So I had a bottle of booze right here and a box of tissues for all the stuff that was coming out. And I didn't realize it would come out. And it seemed to have a book in it. And the great thing I'm getting, the great reactions that I've gotten from the book is that it's becoming, along with the great rock and roll stories like Metallica and Pantera stories I have in there, it's also becoming like more of a self-help thing, because it shows the essence of the book is really to show, if you get knocked down enough times in life, what you have to do is brush yourself off and get up and move on and rally and be your best. And because you have no choice. Well, you're going to stay on the floor. It makes no sense at all. You've got to get up and you got to brush yourself off and you got to move to the next day. Had so many great letters and emails. I can't tell you the amount of messages I've gotten that it's helped people with their loss and their abandonment issues. And that's what's fulfilling about it. I didn't see that coming. I was just telling my story, but to know that I've connected with so many people on that kind of level, that's helped them in their lives. Well, that's what it's all about.
For sure. And you earlier credited Kiss as one of your biggest influences. So what was it like for you to have Gene Simmons write the foreword?
No, Alex, I'm telling you, I didn't see that coming either, because when you write a book, you get to the forward and you talk. I was talking with Joel, my co-writer, about bouncing names off of each other. Gene was one of the names, and there were some pretty big names along with Gene's. I'm like, Gene will never do it. I mean, look, I said, Joel, I would love it. I said, Joel, you make the call. Joel made the call, and don't you know, he came back immediately. Gene would love to do it.
Oh my God.
And I was floored. And I have to tell you this, Alex, when I read for the first time what Gene wrote, I've known Gene Simmons, and I'm a big fan of his forever, but I've known him for quite a long time, since I was a fan at 14 years old. I've I've met Gene Simmons' mom, rest her soul, beautiful, beautiful soul, beautiful person. But I've never heard Gene talk about his dad I've never heard him talk about his dad in any kind of way, but as he did in my forward that he wrote. Uh, I just love what he wrote. It was very heartfelt. A lot of people have told me who are Kiss fans that they've never heard Gene speak like that. And it's still to this day, really means so much to me. I had no idea what he went through with his life with that whole thing. And it was really poignant, and it was beautifully written, I thought.
Mhm. Definitely. That's so cool that like you were able to have one of your biggest influences be such a part of that process for you.
It's a big deal to me to this day, because you look at your life, and usually as you get older, Alex, you kind of formulate everything about what your life, what'd you do, what did you do. That is one of the things I did that really made a mark with me. It's like one of my childhood heroes that I still look up to. I still love Gene Simmons. I still love Kiss. Those were big heroes. Those were my superheroes for when the times in my life when you're bumming out because your dad's not there because he took off and all that stuff. And those are my heroes to look on the stage. Yes, I can do something like that. I want to do that. And so I think it's all comes around. It all comes around. It means a lot to me.
Definitely. And you mentioned that the book kind of deals with some heavier topics. Was there any specific reason why maybe 2021 made the right time to come out with the book?
Yeah, COVID was a big deal because there's something to say in the book. You don't write something unless you have something to say. I didn't want to write the obligatory book, the rock and roll stories. There's rock and roll stories in there, and I put a good some some really good stories of rock and roll stories that people want from these rock and roll autobiographies, whatever you want to call them. But I thought what I want to do is get to the real part of my life that people don't know about, and maybe I can connect with one person, right? That's really feeling shitty in their life about what the predicament is, and
Right.
whether it be abandonment loss or the loss of a loved one. And I thought maybe if I talk about it, and and they see how I dealt with it, and the therapy that I've gone through, and just how to just really, like I said before, just brush yourself off and look, I can't stay on the ground. I can't do this for my whole life. I got to move on and get to a better place. So if one person can feel like that and move to a better place because it's something I wrote, that's what writing a book's about, and just connecting with people. That's this book. I'm proud to say it's connecting with people. That's the biggest deal. It's not just a cash grab, because there's not a lot of cash in this stuff. You just want to connect with people as you do with song. I think it's really important. When I write a song, I want to connect with people that feel it and put it into their computer in their brain, and funnel it out into their world. I think it's important. That's what we're supposed to do as artists. And that's
Right.
so I really feel we've done a good piece of that with the book and EP now.
Definitely. And if there was any sort of advice or anything you could say to maybe your younger self or any new musicians out there, maybe that's not mentioned in the book already, what do you think you would say?
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to be you, because the younger people, as I get older, I see this. They're trying to stay to trends. I don't like the word trend. Be you, because you're special. You're the person that's going to make it. You'll be the leader, because you'll be tomorrow's leader, because you're special and you're different than everybody else. So if you're thinking following trends is going to help you in any way, no, it's about being yourself. That's going to get you to the long distance.
Right.
That's the truth. You got to pave your own way, and just don't listen to the trends, because it's not going to get you anywhere. You can just check it out, but follow your own path. I think that's most important. Follow your own path. Don't make people tell you where you're at. You know where you're at, and follow your own trend. I think that's really important.
Definitely. I definitely agree. And I think that's really good advice. Something that I'm
Thanks.
obviously going to remember and follow for a long time.
So, yeah, I hope we do. Yeah, I mean, I've lived some life, so why not share it? You know, share the
Definitely.
knowledge and wisdom.
Okay, well, I think that's all the questions that I have for you. Is there anything
Great.
else you want to say?
I appreciate your support with the EP and the book, Alex, and everything I do. I appreciate talking to you, and great questions. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy your heat today.
I
I will
will.
enjoy my cold 3 jackets later on. I can't wait. I'm psyched for tonight. About 30 something degrees. Good times ahead.
I'll try to save some of the heat for you when you get here in a couple months.
Please do. And I'm going to hold you to that. I want at least 68 degrees. No rain. No rain. I don't want to see any flurries. The one time we do flurries, nothing, no snow. Please, when I get off the bus, I want to be namaste, right?
Okay. Yeah, I'll do my best.
I'll hold you to it, kid. Very cool. Great talking to you, Alex.